Yo, plug me in. Plug me in to the STEM Plug podcast.
Welcome to episode 3 of the STEM Plug podcast. I am your host, Rich Novated, and today we have another amazing guest on the STEM Plug podcast. You know, here on the STEM Plug podcast, we're here to plug you in with innovators and entrepreneurs within the science, technology, engineering, and math space. So we have Will Costa, aka Willie Contraband. We're so thankful to have you on the show today. So many things to say about Will. You have an amazing resume. It's such a long list to even read. But Will is the founder of Swim. So Will, just kind of introduce yourself to us. We have your brand of Swim. We have everything, but where did everything kind of start for you? Where did you start?
My name is Will Acosta, the water guy, aka Willie Contraband. And to be honest, it started with a dream, just wanting to live life by my own rules, but also just have fun with life and be able to create. I love to create, and Swim came from an artistic process, a project that was a musical artistic project. And it just brought me on a journey, and it brought me into entrepreneurship. It brought me into a place where I started to be like, I need to take control over my life, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And it brought me to like taking over my life in a financial way and becoming an entrepreneur and really like setting a foundation up in my life.
Wow, that's amazing. So before Swim, I know we're currently coming from North Carolina. You're originally from New York City, right?
Yeah, so
okay.
Not the city, but from Queens, New York, one of
Okay.
the main boroughs. But yeah, from New York. Growing up, it's a whole journey. My whole life's a journey. I have stories for days, but yeah, born in Queens, grew up there, but then I moved actually to Dominican Republic for like a few years to live with my grandparents. Moved back to New York and then lived in New Jersey. And then New Jersey is where I went to high school for like a few years, like the last 2 years. And from New Jersey, I came to North Carolina in 2014.
Wow.
I've been here since.
That's that tri-state love. You know, I'm originally from Philly, so I love New York, Jersey, all of that. That's amazing. We want to dive into Swim, right? And, you know, you're the founder of Swim, the water guy, like you said. But we want to kind of, backstep a little bit. Before you kind of founded your own brand, Swim, what were you kind of doing before that? What were your type of work and workings that you were kind of doing?
That's a good question. Before Swim came about, I was a manager at Starbucks. And I was there for 6 years. I did 3 years in New Jersey, and then I transferred to North Carolina and finished 3 years off at Starbucks there. And Starbucks changed my life. Shout out to Starbucks, like real talk, because they provided a positive environment for me to be in every day, where I was out in the streets a lot when I was younger, and I didn't know what it was to have like a positive environment around you where you could put your guard down and, put a smile on your face and you don't got to worry about anything happening. So at Starbucks, I was there for 6 years. I ended up becoming a manager at Starbucks. I climbed up the ladder, and they started offering me a regional manager position to start heading towards corporate level of Starbucks. And then the last year I was at Starbucks was when the music started, and I started going on tour, and I'm there having to make a decision like, all right, this is very secure for me, and I get my guaranteed check every week from Starbucks. And I was at a crossroad where I was like, all right, what am I going to do? And I was really in that Starbucks world because I was so grateful for Starbucks because, like I said, it brought a positive environment for me. And I was there for 6 years, and that's longer than I lived anywhere. That's longer than I ever went to any school. That's longer than I was in any house or in any city, So that's where I was before Swim. I even knew Swim was going to be a thing. I was just doing my thing at Starbucks, and I loved it. I loved being a barista, making drinks. That was my thing.
Yeah, okay. I love your outlook of just like you had a certain path or a certain job that you were in and you were able to, take the good from it, right? I know I've had certain roles in my career where it might not be where I'm at today, but it was definitely, some life lessons that really taught me and really added value to where I'm at today. So that's dope, man. So I guess going into swim, right? Explain to us what exactly is swim. Like we want to swim with you. So what is swim? Put us on,
baby. Do you want to know what swim is right now, or what it was in the beginning?
Let's start from the beginning. What was it in the beginning?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, swim originally was spoken words in motion. So swim's an acronym for spoken words in motion. And Spoken Words in Motion is a music project that I started curating and creating in my transition from leaving my 9 to 5 from Starbucks to really going on this entrepreneur journey. And what happened was when I was leaving Starbucks, I was so excited, man. Like those last 6 months, I made myself a plan. It wasn't like I just stepped in there, I was like, yo, I'm quitting, and like I was gone. It took me 9 months to leave Starbucks, and I created a whole plan. I talked to all my managers and bosses, and everyone was on board. The last few months, I was so excited. I'm like, I'm about to go chase my dreams. I'm about to quit my job. I'm about to da-da-da. And all this negative energy started coming. And people were telling me, yo, you're crazy. Don't do that. Like, that's risky. Nah, man, like, you're not going to be able to, like, get a job like that again. They're telling me, oh, you sure you really want to do this? This might not work for you. Oh, you just started doing music a year or so ago. And not even boosting me up or believing in me that, like, haven't you been able to see what I've been able to create before I left Starbucks? Like, I already was building a foundation. So no one was understanding what I was going through. I had no one to talk to. And I had to put it into something creative to express that, because everyone I was talking to was telling me, you're doing the wrong thing. So I put all that emotional energy. I was drowning in my emotions. I was drowning in my thoughts, and I created Swim to make sure I stayed above the water. And during that transitional period when I was like, am I making the wrong decision? I mean, I already put my resignation letter, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, no, we're going to navigate through this. And we started learning how to swim.
Wow, that's amazing. But you got me swimming right now, So that's dope, man. So even I guess you coming into the beginning, right? So now you spoke about that, but now we have a whole water brand here, right? And this has really caught my interest because I love water, man. That's all I drink. I'm not really a soda person. I love water. I love just feeling hydrated and stuff like that. So what made you really wanted to kind of just start your own water brand now? Like, how did that all come about?
Yeah, man.
Plug us in, man.
I just want to say all praise to the Most High, to Source, to the universe, whatever it is, because it came to me. I always say water is life. I'm a big water person too. I never thought I was going to have my own water company. Like, I created this project Swim, and like a year after, like, we've been throwing all these swim events, right? I came out with a music project, and then I did a release party in downtown Raleigh at the Glass Box. We did a release party in New Jersey and then in New York. And that was just to release the music. And then it started becoming, oh, this is a thing. Like, this is a community thing. We're bringing people together. And then at one event in New York or in New Jersey, one of those, someone came up to me and was like, yo, Will, Swim sounds like it could be a water. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, I like that. I was like, I don't know how, and it sat with me for like 2 weeks. I remember coming back down to North Carolina on the bus and just being on the bus, like thinking for hours, like, wow, Swim could be water. And after 2 weeks, I get a download. Boom, out of nowhere, the thought comes in. Source, water, in motion.
Wow.
And I was like, that's it.
Wow, that's dope. So, your ideas, your thinking, do you usually like brainstorm a lot early in the morning, stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. Early in the morning and late at night. Those are my time zones.
Yeah, I feel you. When people are asleep, that's when you gotta think. I know with me, most of my ideas come to me early in the morning. I'm up to like 5 in the morning, writing down ideas or writing down short stories. So that's dope.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I really like about your brand, Swim, is like you're swimming with the community as well, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of local stuff with the community. Can you tell us about some of the things that Swim is doing with the water brand in the local community in North Carolina?
Yeah, for sure. So like I just mentioned, the swim events. That's pretty much like a core thing that we do. We provide free events, free admission, also like free snacks, free drinks for folks in the community. We did 12 events last year, all free for the community. And I like to provide that. At least one of our events every month is a free event because there's so many things people could experience, but there's a blockage financially. And it's like, I've been to so many events, I've been to festivals, and I'm like, I want everyone to experience this. But there is that barrier. So I try to break that barrier down. We have broken that barrier down in some aspects. So through events, we bring community together. And also our core programs at Swim, which are Water Wednesday and Thirsty Thursdays. And Water Wednesday is how we hydrate our community. On every Wednesday, we've been doing this since August 2020. And we mainly focus for Water Wednesdays on our homeless and houseless community members. So we try to start right from the bottom, because if we could take care of the bottom, everything else beyond that is going to be an easier process. And with Thirsty Thursdays, we focus on college students, since there is a good percentage of college students that are financially challenged. We want to make sure they get their base necessities, with water.
Yeah, okay.
And also flipping the Thirsty Thursday thing, where it's like, you think of Thirsty Thursday, it's like, oh, we gotta go out and drink. It's like, nah, we getting hydrated.
I love that. That deeper impact. So okay, tell us a little bit more about your Swim water brand, right? What would you say kind of separates your brand of water from something else, from any other water brand out here? What makes you unique besides the name Swim?
Right. The name is But I love that question. That's a good question, because that was a challenge in the beginning. I'll be completely transparent. When the download came and we first materialized and manifested Swim water, I was just trying to get it out there as this is a different type of water. It's clean water. It's also natural water. We try to educate people on the differences and stuff. But what came to be the most unique thing about Swim is not that, it's just healthier water. It's what we do with the water and what's behind the water. And I had to learn that. It wasn't even my intention in the beginning. I was like, wow, Swim is helping the community. Swim is hydrating folks. Swim is getting people to start being aware about water. And it was like, this is our medium to be able to connect with people, because we all have to drink water. Okay. So that's the special thing about Swim, is what we do with it, and Swim is able to hydrate our communities, and also at the same time able to fund our Swim events that brings community together in one space.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So you have so much about your brand that I just really find interesting. This is the STEM Plug podcast, right? So you're plugging us in. So how would you, we went into different waters and stuff like that. How would you say Swim really ties in to the STEM field?
So I would say, we recently won, we were recipients of a grant. So from RTP had the 2022 STEM RTP grant. And we were one of the recipients, I believe 1 out of 7. Yeah.
Go ahead, brag on that. Come on.
1 out of 7, something like that. 1 out of 7 or 1 out of 13. It wasn't many. I remember. I was like, it was something. I was like, gratitude, because I was like, whoa, there's a lot of companies out here in the RTP area. But the way it intersects is we try to use this also as a medium for education, to put people on game into the scientific part of water and the water crisis that we're going through, and how can we provide solutions for that, in terms of lack of water and the resource of water for a lot of folks, but also the scientific aspect of water and how we use water systems to get the dirtiest of waters to make them the cleanest of the waters.
Yeah, so that actually brings up a good point that I wanted to ask. How does, the Swim have any ideas or concepts that you put into just the awareness of clean water? Do y'all have any initiatives about that?
In terms of providing awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our main thing right now, you came to the portal. So
yeah.
The portal is the home for Swim. It's our headquarters down in downtown Raleigh on NC State campus. We are holding workshops. Okay. So we have many water systems. so that we could do like live demos. So what we able to do is sometimes we do one of the showcases of like bringing a big plastic container and just getting like the dumpiest, muddiest water we could get. And then the mini system has like a tube that we could enter into there. And then we could put it into a brand new container where you could see the process. And the cool thing is that the mini system is clear, it's transparent. So you can see how it's going through it, all the different elements in it that it has to process through, like all the salt, all the charcoal, like there's even dirt that cleans the water and stones. It's crazy. So going through that process and then showing them live, because I feel like a lot of us are visual learners. So I feel like people need to see with their eyes and be able to touch and be hands-on. So that's one of the initiatives that we're doing right now, creating more awareness of how dirty water could turn into clean water.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope, man. I guess another question that I have is, a lot of people have ideas, right, about starting their own brand, wanting to be an entrepreneur. What type of advice would you kind of give to someone that, they have an idea that's in their head, but they're just scared to take that first leap, right? What advice would you give to someone that's looking to be, a founder or want to found their own brand, something like your swim brand?
Yeah, man, great question. I would have to be honest. What I learned is that it's not easy, and you have to be willing to accept that from the beginning. Because I like to say I'm a certified dreamer because I made my dreams into reality. But in the beginning, I was so optimistic that I was bypassing a lot of things that I was having to face. So it's knowing that people want to be an entrepreneur and start their own business for the aspect of freedom. That's usually one of the main components. What I saw is that, I was busting my butt at Starbucks for 40 hours a week. And I was just telling one of my teammates yesterday, I'm like, I know I'm working at least 100 hours a week almost doing this. So being able to see that and be like, I'm willing to do that because this is something that is for myself, but also I'm going to enjoy. But in terms of taking the leap of faith, it's going to be scary no matter what. And it's always going to be scary. And, I constantly, reinforce that to my team and folks that I speak with because I'm always nervous. I'm always scared. And as we're expanding now, more than ever, I'm like, this is whoa, like I did not sign up for all this,
Yeah.
But I'm like, I did sign up for it. I just didn't read the fine print, I wanted to bypass everything and be like, well, I'm going to make my own hours. I'm going to be my own boss. But I'm like, I work 100 hours minimum every week. But the thing is that I love it. And it's like, it fuels me. And if I don't do it, I don't feel that good. You know what I mean? So that's one thing, is being able to accept what it takes for this, but also just doing it. A lot of times too, people that want to be entrepreneurs and innovators or have some creative outlets that they want to express to the world, what happens is that there's a lot of fear that comes with that in terms of rejection. And also feeling to strive to be perfect, or it has to look a certain way before I show the world or I come out and do it. When we first came out with the swim waters, man, I should have brought a picture, boy, because we was there with our mini systems. Now we have a partnership with a manufacturer, an all-woman company in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And, now they're able to, like, help us do that part of creating the water and the packaging, the labeling. But before, we was in the kitchen with it. Like, we was in the kitchen with the mini systems, ordered fresh bottles, fresh labels, fresh tops. Yeah. And it looked crazy. Some labels were like lopsided, it wasn't straight and stuff. And it was like, it doesn't matter how it looks, we just had to get it out. Wow. And we developed that perfectionism as we continue. It's never really perfect. Yeah. So I think that's a big thing. It's a lot of people wanting to be perfect before they come out with it because they don't want to be like, oh, rejection or people making fun of me. It's like, people gonna rock with it just for the spirit of it. Like, if you believe in it, other people gonna believe in it.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. Just like you said, you just have to believe in yourself and have that plan, right? When you have that plan and you can just understand, the hardest part is to start, man. With anything, I feel like the hardest part is to start. Once you can start, everything else will come kind of all together. But you just gotta just start and put yourself out there. So that's amazing. So you said now your manufacturer is in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about the expanding process. All right, what's the goal? Swim in different stores now? What's going on with that?
Yeah, man. So we've been expanding. We're actually in multiple states right now. But to just focus on North Carolina right now, we're in Raleigh, we're in Durham, we're in Clayton, and we're in Rougemont. I don't know if you know Rougemont. Rougemont's like a little past Durham, going Roxborough.
Okay, got you.
But we're mainly focused on like mom and pop shops, like local smoke shops, gas stations, people in the community that we could help them benefit and we could benefit with them. Because with swim, you always win with swim. So it's win-win situations all around. So we have a few stores. We also just partnered up with Good Guys. So Good Guys, they're a franchise. So now we were able to put our waters in all their stores in their franchise. They also have a store in Mooresville and Fuquay. So we're in Mooresville and Fuquay. And we just recently expanded our commercial space in Raleigh, the portal, from 600 square feet to 1,700 square feet. And we're gearing up for our grand opening on May 1st. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, it's definitely shaking and moving. How can our listeners kind of be of support of anything that you have going on? Like, how can we be of support of swim? Is there any type of support that you're looking for? Any type of expansion? Are you looking to brand swim into any other areas? How can we plug you in for plugging us in?
Thank you, brother. I would say there's a few things, but the best thing is to just spread the word. You know, exposure, letting people know who and what swim is, what swim looks like, what they're about, because that's all we need. You know, we're over here doing the work. It's day in, day out. You know, I'm grateful we got a solid team of folks that like they're dedicated and committed to this, and we're doing our part. All we need is just spread the word. Another way to support is you go to www.swimwater.us, and you can either hop on the newsletter, you could order some water, order some swim shirts or some swim gear. We got that, the flask, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, okay.
So you could do that. You could also find us on Instagram at swimwater.us, same way like the website, but on Instagram. Also swim.movement. Because swim is now a movement, so that's how we're moving. Okay. In motion, baby.
Yeah, you helping us swim, man. You're a lifeguard right now.
It's funny because I used to be a lifeguard.
That's dope. We talked all this amazing things about swim, right? What are the challenges of being in the water space? Are there any challenges that you've seen?
Heavy challenges. But challenges are always good. You know, because it allows you to grow, helps you get creative with solutions. I would say I could just rewind and go to the beginning. It was very difficult to get into the water industry. Water industry is very gatekept. And I thought we was in the future. I thought we was in the information age, right? That's what we're in right now, right? We could Google everything. When it came to the water industry, there was no Googling this thing, man. Like, months of trying to research, how do you start a water company? How do I do this? Nothing. So that was one of the biggest challenges, is that there's not a lot of information of how to start a water company online. And that was by the grace of God that I started meeting people that aligned and were in certain positions in the water industry. And I didn't know, you know, this is like a person, 3 degrees, like a person that knew a person and was like, yo, Will, you're trying to do this? Oh, I know somebody. But that was over months and months. It took a year to finally get the water out, you know, from the download of getting source water in motion, because there was no way. Like, I have so many other businesses that I started, and that was like, I get it started in 3 to 6 months. Boom, 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 boom. There's information. I get moving. With this, man, the information part was the major challenge in the beginning. Beyond that was capital and that initial investment, because these are all tangible items. It's not like I'm just providing a service, you know, that I just show up. Also, water is expensive and it weighs a lot. So shipping, man. Wow. I didn't think of that either. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, and then I'm in it and I'm like, oh, it's too late now. I can't back out, but we're gonna have to pay for this. Like, so those were the main challenges, where there wasn't much room to kind of bypass around it, and I had to really like supercharge the other outlets and streams of income that I was doing to supplement this in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So have you had anyone approach you that's interested in starting their own water, or what do you tell like, hey, it's hard work?
I tell them straight up, and I'm honest with everybody, because I'm a person that, like, I came through a lot of challenges in my life, speaking of challenges, and I felt like all I needed when I was younger was an opportunity. I was like, if someone could help me out, just guide me in the way, I could do it. And it took me a long time to get opportunities. So when other people come, even if it's in my space, like in terms of my industry, and I'm in the water industry, I don't feel like this competition, because we're all different type of creatives. So
Exactly.
since last October, there's been about 4 people that have come to me out of this since we've been doing this since 2019, and no one's ever asked me about, like, how do I start my own? Since this October, I guess, since we're expanding,
Wow.
this past October, 4 people have asked me, like, in the last 5-6 months.
Wow.
And I did the same thing. I told him, yo, I'll help you, man. I was like, we could partner up. I could have you have your own label, so you could start it up under Swim until you could build yourself up, and then you could take it on your own. But it's difficult, because then we start going through the process, and a few weeks in or a month in, they're like, whoa, this is a lot of work, and it's a lot of paperwork, and going through the process of talking to these companies that, you know, obviously there's still people above us that we have to go through. And then them having to build trust and relationship with those new people that want to start their own brand, you know? So I've been trying to do it, and that showed me something else that I'm like, now we have to build another system for that type of service of, how can we allow help and guide other people that maybe want to do the same thing? Because I'm like, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be to help other people to start their own water brand. And it kind of makes me feel bad, because I was like, excited when someone's like, yo, I want to, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then I'm like, whoa, I forgot, to be honest, bro. I kind of blocked out a lot of things that I went through in the beginning, because it's like I couldn't put too much focus on it, because it would slow me down or like paralyze me in a way. I would feel overwhelmed. And now that I'm finally like in this place and I'm reflecting a lot, I'm like, how did I do all that? You know what I mean? I'm like, a lot of things that I did takes a full team to do, but it's like, since I left Starbucks and I had that whole time, like, I'll be up 20 hours a day. Now I need my sleep, you know what I mean? So now it looks different, but
I feel you. Yeah, you had that tunnel vision, and you had that plan, so you wasn't even thinking about the hours of the day. You just had that plan and that goal, and you was kind of going. So it sounds like you're almost about to be the plug of water out here. So that's water plug. I like that.
That's
I like that.
My teammate Poet, I think you met Poet at the event. He said the same thing, man.
Yeah, that's dope, man. When you have a skill, and you know you also have your own space, like you said, and now you're able to give people an opportunity. I know that has to be an amazing feeling. How does that make you feel that you have a brand like this and you're able to actually give people opportunities like this now?
It's just gratitude, bro. Gotta be grateful, man, because a lot of people always ask me with all the things I'm doing, like, did you see this? Like, I'm like, I kind of did parts of it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of ways that I set myself up, and I knew it, like, Will, it's gonna take you 5 years, it's gonna take you 10 years to get to these places. But this, bro, I did not see this happening. And I'll be completely honest. And I'm a person that I'm like, yeah, I got the master plan, I'm always on point. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this for people, bro. And it just makes me really grateful. Because a lot of times I think as we grow and evolve, like, what we want to do for the world is do the things that we didn't have for ourselves. Things that weren't provided for us. And that's what I feel like. Now I'm like, this is what it's about. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to be in a position that I could just keep giving and pouring into the community and pouring into people. And I never knew how fulfilling it would feel. And that's the things, like, where I'm at right now, bro, is just like, when I'd be like, I block things out, I'm like, how did I keep going? How did I keep swimming? And it's because, like, I'm like, this kept feeding me. You know, one person that I helped, it just fueled me with energy. I'm like, this is what people need. So I didn't see this happening, bro. And I'm just grateful. And I want to keep this going. And it's going to keep going. Because now swimming's a living thing. It's beyond me now. This was my music project of me leaving Starbucks. A transitional point in my life of me trying to figure out who I am. And it was about me at first. And now it's not about me no more. And it's beautiful. Because now Swim lives on its own. It's its own entity. The swim is the people now. And I'm just grateful, bro. I'm just grateful.
Yeah, man. That's actually, I just hit my 30s. So it's just like that word is just a story of my life the same way of just gratitude, man. I'm just so thankful having the opportunity of, to learn from different mistakes I might have made in my life, but as well as now, being in a place in my life where I'm able to help people and give people an opportunity. Like you said, it's like stuff that you couldn't even imagine or envision. Like words can't even really describe it. So like that's dope, man. I really look forward to that. What's the future of swim? Where do you see swim going kind of next? What lane are we swimming into next?
Definitely. I think swim's gonna expand. I know where we're at right now with the process of things. So swim has become, it went from being an art project, a music art project, to a water brand. Now it's a lifestyle brand. I'll give you the sneak peek of what's our big project to come up next year for 2024. The new implementation of swim, source, wealth, and motion. So how can we provide even more resources to the community, right? I always look at water, liquidity, wealth. That's what the people need. And that's going to be our new implementation of swim in the future, this upcoming year, source, wealth, and motion. How can we make community resources accessible for everyone with minimum requirements? How can we provide new streams of income? I'm talking about water, streams of income for folks in the community. So that's what we're working on right now.
That's dope. Well, bro, I appreciate you plugging us in on the water, man. Swim.
Yes, sir.
You definitely got us swimming. You got me swimming today. But so where can our audience find you at? Can you give us your social media, website, stuff like that?
Definitely. So like I said, I'm Will Acosta, aka the Water Guy, aka Willie Contraband. So if you guys want to directly access my social media, you can find me at Willie Contraband. So that's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Willie Contraband, Willie Contraband.
Okay. Got it. Well, this is another episode of the STEM Plug Podcast, episode 3. We appreciate you, and thank you again, Will, for plugging us in on the water guy. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
All right.